and a good morning to you. Do not, I repeat, do not get used to this morning's temperatures. When I got up here this morning about 5:30, it was 57 degrees. That crap's going away. Look at 4, all wrapped up in his sweater here. That stuff's going away. 100 for tomorrow, close to 100 Thursday, may even get close to 100 today. When I'm talking hundies, it better be green. It better not be temperatures. We're glad to have you along with us here this morning. I heard from my good friend Tom Sorensen. He apologized over and over. We kind of got, he does a lot of shows. We kind of got miscommunicated on our times, and he was like freaking out because he didn't realize it was yesterday morning, and he put 2 apologies on Facebook, and then he called me, and I'm like, Tom, relax, man, it's fine. He's as good as they come. I said, we have plenty of time to talk about all the dysfunction that's going on down in Charlotte. So,
is there dysfunction?
Yeah, there's truly dysfunction, just in case anybody's keeping score. A lot of things going on. Big topic yesterday, and I said this before, and I think we've got a chicken sandwich.
Yep.
Riding on this. Everybody's saying Baker Mayfield's going to be in Charlotte.
Yeah. Yes,
he's going to be.
Fit.
He's going to be with the Panthers. It is. I mean, it really is. It can't be any worse.
It's almost like, are they doing it to make the team better, or to have people actually come watch him and see what he's going to do? See what he's going to do next.
I have no interest at all in going to see Baker Mayfield. None. Let me give you a little background on that, okay? There's a couple of things that bother me, okay? Let me go ahead and jump out here. We went to dinner last night to a great place in Winston called Cagney's Kitchen. Mm-hmm. It's Greek.
Yep.
It's right across from the hospital. We all met down there for Father's Day. The biggest reason is they serve breakfast all day. Absolute fantastic breakfast. We all got breakfast but one. Dylan got he got the country fried steak and gravy and that kind of thing.
Call.
And Jonathan had the popcorn shrimp and mac and cheese and fries.
Right.
The rest of us had breakfast, and when you order, they ask you what you want, and you say, well, I'd like 2 eggs and sausage, and how you like your eggs, and you tell them, and then they say grits, gravy, hash browns. Camden couldn't wait to say yes, which means she got them all. And then she said, "Could you scatter a little cheese on those hash browns too?"
Yeah.
So that's what we
Sharp
had. Anyway,
yeah.
let me give you 2 small pet peeves, and I know none of y'all care, but you might get a laugh out of it. Okay, Stephen, good morning. Richie, good morning. Milton, good morning. So here's my thing. There's 2 things that bother me. One thing is wasted potential, okay? And that's how I view Baker Mayfield. He can't get out of his own way. He probably can play in this league. There have been people to say, yep, he's one of the top 32, maybe in about the middle of the pack, but he's so immature and he lets other things that have nothing to do with playing the game get in the way. Okay, so one of the things that bother me is wasting your potential. Okay, you only get one shot at this kind of stuff, and so I think he's kind of wasting that.
Yeah, he is.
Number two, on the other side of the spectrum. How do I put this gently? Make sure I don't step any toes and call anybody out specifically, but. People that get to where they are, not because they don't work hard, but they've had so much help propping them up to get there. Sometimes I don't know that they really understand what it takes to get there when you start from nothing. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does that make sense?
100%.
I don't have any problem. We got this discussion last night. Well, you're jealous. And I'm like, no, I'm not jealous.
Jealous of?
Because somebody's done better than I have because they were propped up more from the beginning. That has nothing to do with it.
Define done better. Exactly. It's a stylistic form of expression.
Handed you into a business that you didn't build.
Bless them. Bless.
Yeah, that's just one of those. Because I'm not jealous of it at
not
all.
You. I'm just saying.
But it bothers me because I think you struggle because you don't appreciate what it takes to get to that point if you never went through that. Same reason that third generation businesses generally fail, because the third generation didn't experience any of the work that it took the first two generations to build the business. It was handed off to them, and that's fact. That's a business fact.
Yeah, it happens so much
a lot
than not. And like you said, you've seen it. I have seen it quite a bit.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
The whole thing is too, is it harder to get there or harder to stay there?
Listen, Lindsay, you're talking about last night. Yeah, I just won't let it go.
But yeah, I mean, is it harder to get there?
If you don't think I'm a butthead, ask your mother. What? What? And I was nice when I said that.
Oh man.
I have no issues with what anybody has or anything like that. And I'm all about I hope that I can be there to help my kids kind of get their career started. Lindsay's a great example. Let me give you this example.
Okay.
When Lindsay graduated from school with her education degree, and she went to the job fair in Lincoln County. This is a true story. You can vouch for this. When she went around, she introduced herself. Hi, I'm Lindsay Ford. Lanny Ford's my dad, because it could possibly open some doors, because I'd been in the system, knew a lot of people, people that were administrators or inside the system, people I had grown up with. I had no problem with that as long as you don't screw my name. It's all I got. Yeah. I have no problem. But that opened a door. Didn't guarantee anything. You still had to go in and prove yourself.
Sure.
Okay? And that's where I'm at with Baker Mayfield. I'm kind of like Cowherd. Cowherd says, I cannot get over his crotch grabbing on national TV
that's me.
Because of his immaturity. Now, will he fit in at Carolina? Absolutely.
Well, this is the
he's
holy cow, man.
He is right there.
All right. So this is the thing, right? You have to be immature before you can be mature. And even in your early 20s, as a male, brain's still developing. We know it's not fully developed, or say we know.
Mine's still not. Ask anybody.
Science has pretty much come to the conclusion that it's 24, 25 years old, right? The whole point is he made a mistake. Has he done things that have shown that he has moved on from that and learned from it?
No, that's the problem.
So my thing, I go back to a minute ago when we were joking around, is it harder to get there or is it harder to stay there? And to your point, it depends on the track that you are provided, work for, and or given. All right.
There are multiple ways to get there. It's harder to stay there on your own.
So the most important thing, I always talk about style versus substance. The most important thing is if you have style, that you are creating a substance to back it up. So when you do get there, you have to whatever there is for you, that you have the ability to stay there. Mm-hmm. Style makes it seem glamorous, but in reality, it is very temporary and very right now.
And it quickly fades because the real comes out that you don't have enough about you to get the job done.
What would you say Brady's greatest attribute between is it his substance or his style?
It's his substance, because he was always who he was.
And what has his substance allowed him to be able to do? His substance has created his own style.
Yeah, well, yes,
legacy and style. So now because he had the right foundation.
That's correct.
And because he stayed
grounded,
with a chip on his shoulder. Mm-hmm. His mom and dad right there with him, they were just as upset as he was. Mm-hmm. I mean, rightfully so, but, that he didn't get drafted by so-and-so, or he was overlooked, or Lloyd Carr was going to bench him for Drew Henson, the latest, greatest thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. When in reality, Belichick sits there and says, holy cow, look at the track this guy's gone on. He's the kind of guy on the Navy SEAL chart that we talked about yesterday, okay? He's in the he's in the far right column about halfway up. I can trust this guy 100%. And right now I think he's probably got mediocre at best or a little above ability, but his trust factor makes him so much more valuable than his athleticism right now. And guess what happened? The exact opposite to your point is going on with the young man that is now likely going to go to Charlotte. He has a chance to fix that. But
but you can't fix what you don't see.
Okay.
Or recognize or own.
Recognize. No, I agree with that. And sometimes, the truth is such you've got to surround yourself with people that will tell you the truth about things. Tell, when you ask.
Facts hurt sometimes.
Well, but
facts are facts.
But I say the smartest, the most intelligent people that understand relationships understand that it's not about the relationship making you feel good as much as the relationship continue to grow through trust. Because when trust when you're led by trust, everything else can flourish. It's when it's so hard when our wives or us tell them, hey, how do we look in this? And you can't. There's a fine line. You can either be happy, you can
Facts
be right.
hurt.
But what I'm saying is it's one of those things that where if you could break through that barrier, life would be better because there'd be a recognition that, okay, I need to do something about this. And number two, don't ask me again until he or she won't ask again until they know that they answer themselves.
Well, the thing with Baker is that from my standpoint, if I were the Carolina Panthers, just what you said, I'm not sure I can trust who he's going to be regardless of his athletic ability. We say this all the time, and you and I agree on this point. I'll take the top-notch kid with attitude with half the athletic ability over the 100% athletic kid that's got 50% attitude because I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting, but I don't know when that's going to come off the rails. And if I've got a great athlete that comes off the rails, they're useless to me. But if I've got a kid that I can trust, that I know will stay on the rails, and we can navigate through whatever's there, I'll take the amount of ability that they have to give me.
That's a great point. And when we allowed athletes to start marginalizing practice, i.e. training, game preparation, like Allen Iverson, man, it's practice. That is your game preparation. That is where you are doing your job as a professional to get ready for the next step. You may be already there and that great player and don't want to put all that energy into this, but when you stop growing and trying to improve yourself, you start dying. And it doesn't matter if it comes from an athletic standpoint or, just being plain stupid, all right, and not realizing that. And the way that they marginalize that is say, yeah, but look at my paycheck.
Yeah.
Figured out, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you never read the book or listened to it, Audible, get it, listen to it, okay? Because it's not about what you get, it's about what you keep, okay?
And how you apply it.
Right.
Yeah.
Are things doing it, you're either an asset or you're a liability. There is no gray area. And the same thing with the things that you own and how you produce.
I've been through that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Things are either asset or a liability. When they become a liability, it's time to get rid of the debt.
Couple of comments come in. Richie said he was watching the College World Series yesterday and gave me a number that surprised me. It leads me to a trivia question. How many players are from the SEC in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame? Think about that one. And then Milton said, you take advantage of the opportunity that is provided. I have no problem with that, but you have to develop yourself. You can't always ride on what was provided. That's where my rub comes from.
Oh, yeah, no. And I think Milton, what you're saying, I think Milton's 100% right. And the way you take advantage of it is to learn all you can.
What you do with it moving forward.
Right. And then the mistakes that you make or that other people make, you see and learn from that. So, okay, if you're Baker Mayfield and let's say I'm his best friend, well, number one, he wouldn't act like that, because I would be all over him. But number one, okay, dude, are the things that you're doing maximizing your potential as a professional football player and as a person of focus and making you the very best you can be?
The problem is, in his eyes, it does, because he can't see anything outside of his own perspective.
Right, and that's why he, I think the guy, I think he's been overhyped. Okay, I think he's a very
read his own press clippings.
Right, I think he's a very good story. He was a backup. He was, I believe, a walk-on. He couldn't get this chance. He moved out, transferred, did this. That's great. Carrying that chip like Brady did is great. Roethlisberger, mid-major quarterback. That's great. Keeping the chip while learning, about the environment and the process and what it takes to become the next level of where you are is what's most important. It's not about existing in the current.
Yeah.
And remember what Saban says about things. Sweeney has said this. Joe Pa years ago. It's human nature just to try to survive and be average. When you get to the professional ranks, it's not about being average anymore. So if your focus is not on getting yourself better and staying and playing as hard as you can, as long as you can,
but when you get there, you're not going to get there. You have to take a whole different look and self-evaluation, or you don't stay there
every day.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I think that going to Carolina, and let me give you an example. If you had somebody like a Steve Smith still there that would fight you at the drop of a hat, okay, or a Kuechly with years experience, Sam Mills, those guys, okay. If you have Olsen's a great. If you have those guys around you, and you come in and they hold you to a standard like the Patriot way that many people hate. Right. But it works, okay? It does.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you can deny it if you want to, but you're in loser la-la land, okay?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that is then the ability for him to grow to that next, or have the potential to take himself to the next step, to be the guy. Kerry Collins didn't start off very well. He learned from those things. I think he played in the Super Bowl. Is that right, with the Giants? Okay. He upped his level. He improved himself instead of trying to improve his situation. He said, you know what? I screwed up in Charlotte. I was young. I was stupid. And then all of a sudden he started getting involved in things that made him the best, make you the best you can be so you can help others. Well, then he started, escalating his career, which people thought he could do. Very interesting.
Richie said the idea and the thought of someone doing better than another person is an objective perception, and that's exactly right. Randy, I'm going to get your comment when we come back from the break. Lindsay said, now I get to tell people Lindsay's my daughter. That would be Dr. Beam was my daughter. She also said, harder to stay on your own if you don't learn the skills you need to stay. However, that development doesn't happen.
I know,
And then she followed up, said, on the flip side, if you don't see yourself the way other people see you, it's difficult too. She said, I still see a different size person in the mirror than the one who's running 5Ks.
I got her perception.
Sometimes it's hard for you,
right,
especially if it's a positive change. Just like a negative change. People don't like to recognize negative change. They don't like to recognize positive change either because of where you've been. Let's see. Trivia answer. Tyler says, Frank Thomas, the big hurt? She'll like it too. You've seen those commercials.
Yeah.
The big hurt.
Oh yeah. And the thing about him is he defied all of hitting logic with the way that he hit, and it drove the pundits crazy.
Yeah.
But what you got to remember is if you're a pro at something, you don't keep achieving at a high level just because somebody else doesn't like it. It's because you're producing.
It's all about what you
know
do.
what I'm talking
yes,
about?
yes.
And as bad as not his mechanics, but as bad as
some people
kids,
are okay just following and staying inside the narrative, but it's about what you accomplish. Doesn't matter how you get there as long as you're not stepping on people.
Can't agree more. And the crazy thing is like we see it with kids coaching. We have kids that are technique bound. They're going to do it this way because it's the right technique, but yet their productivity is terrible. But if they step outside of it, then sometimes their productivity will increase, and it looks ugly, but they get the job done. So the idea is don't overcoach, don't overstress, but try to refine to make it more efficient.
Yes, that's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I had a kid, and I know we got to go to break, but I had a kid in our in Maiden in '99 we won the state championship, Jared Cheek. He hit 900 in the playoffs, and it was the worst batting stance in the history of America. He had duck feet at the plate. All right, he held his bat up here and did all this. And when that ball was thrown, he would smack it thing somewhere. And I thought to myself, okay, dude, everything about this is driving me insane. But your productivity is at a high level.
Can't take it away.
So what we tried to do was to just encourage him to keep him productive.
Yeah.
And
golf
swings
are those are some of the worst.
The dude could hit, but his fielding, the way he worked himself, that's what I focused on. I left him alone at the plate, and he turned himself in from a guy that DH'd as a junior to one of the best third basemen that I've ever coached, and made some tremendous diving catches down the line, get up throwing people out. Just a great story.
Tyler Ritchie, tell me where Frank Thomas played, and Andrew, let Freddie Freeman go. Okay,
Frank played at Auburn.
All right, let Freddie Freeman go. Okay, he can't. Andrew can't let Freddie Freeman go.
I can't let him go either. He hit a bomb 2 nights ago, and I'm sitting there, and I nearly text Andrew, but I didn't want to bother him because it was a little later because I watched the reruns. He hit a bomb, and the guy looked like he did, when he first came out. He was loose. He was relaxed. He's the same Freddie.
Yeah.
They sacrificed. Man, they traded
There's
in.
not a happier
God
guy. There's not a happier player when he's on the field.
They traded in a Cadillac for a friggin' skateboard.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It happens.
What are you doing?
Richie said great point for Alonzo Highsmith for the Hurricanes, who's now the general manager of football operations.
Yes.
He talked about the days as a player at Miami, and he said practices were epic to the point that they were harder than the games.
Yes.
Well, guess what? They're supposed to be harder.
Right.
The game's supposed to be the payoff.
Right.
The games aren't supposed to be hard.
Thank you for
It's
pointing that
supposed
out.
to be the payoff. Let me take a break. We'll come back. Randy's got a question about how golf is going to play out, and I'll give you some details when we come back.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name.
First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Nice morning this morning. Humidity's not bad. I don't think the humidity's supposed to be as bad as much as the heat is this week, but we'll see. Let's see. It's not a happier fan base than the Dodgers either. Let it go, Andrew.
Oh, I'm right there with him. I can't let it go.
Lindsay said Cadillac for a skateboard. I'm keeping that one stone cold.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Richie said, yeah, that's a good one. Link said, U.S. Open, all the pros who missed the cut got $10,000.
My wife's familiar with that Cadillac skateboard.
The future, is she? Yeah. The future of the PGA Tour. Steven said Frank was a big-time football recruiter. He's a big man.
Yeah.
Came to Auburn on football scholarship, also played baseball. Football coach realized his future was in baseball, let him stay on football scholarship and play baseball.
That's right.
30 for 30 about Bo Barkley Frank is a good one.
It's really.
I haven't seen
Who said that?
I really that was Stephen.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Stephen.
I really had never, because I don't follow baseball.
No, yeah.
Frank Thomas, the only thing I know him of by is she'll like it too. You know, he's him and Doug Flutie.
Right. Well, I mean, but that, and let me tell you something, that brand is, I mean, it does work. You know, what he's promoting.
I want to get swolled.
Well, but it does. It does.
Yeah. Randy said he wanted to hear our thoughts on the PGA tumbling like Biden on a bicycle.
Ooh.
This is going to open up other sports like NASCAR to venture out. NASCAR tried this and they squashed them. Now, what's going to happen? The part that, and I've said this before, and I'll give you the reference here. If you tune in and watch the madness that we do, that's because you want to. Am I get mad if you turn the channel and don't come back? No, that's your choice. It should be the same way with with like NASCAR, PGA, all of these are independent contractors. When you start forcing people to stay inside of your brand, that's because you're afraid that you don't have the best offering for them and you'll lose them. That's no way to get it. I've told this story about business. I've cut thousands of lines of code because I'm an old programmer by trade. I don't have one customer in all of my 30-plus years that I've been a consultant that doesn't own and have everything that they paid me to do in-house on their machines.
Right.
So that if I got run over by a truck or they didn't like it because I had this shirt on today and want me to never come back, their investment is protected. I want to do things with people, for people, because they want me to, not because, well, I ain't got nobody else I can use.
So, yeah, right.
And I worked with a guy that he had customers that were kind of afraid to do anything because of the way he acted, and I've never wanted to do that. That's not the way to do. So back to your question or your comment, Randy, here's what I think is going to happen. I think what's going to happen is the PGA is going to have to buckle. First of all, there's a lot of litigation experts out there that say they're going to get sued because they're doing antitrust things.
Restraint of trade too.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things. But the other things that's going to happen is when it starts affecting – I'll give you a great tie-in here. NCAA. NCAA was not going to allow NIL. Not going to allow NIL. And what happened? But it came. PGA is going to have to be the same way.
You're right.
You set up the product, you set up the environment so that it is conducive to everybody that wants to be part of it, instead of trying to dictate what you think is the right thing to do. The LIV Tour, it's not as good a product as the PGA, okay? But these guys are working for a living. They're working for a living. They should be able to play where they want to. The latest thing that's coming about this is, and Greg Norman, who's the commissioner of the LIV, is already making the noise about it, do the world ranking points put you in certain majors? Like, for example, the U.S. Open, does the U.S. Open say, okay, we're going to take the top 5 golfers in the LIV, they get an automatic bid, because that's the way the PGA does it. Masters, same thing. We're going to take the top many rankings.
That's what,
If they don't, they're going to lose top talent because they're trying to control them. And then it starts to hurt the tournaments.
Tighter your grip.
And then people get all bent out of shape about it.
That's
so
right.
They're going to have to figure this out.
Yep.
And I've said this before. They don't have to like it, but they got to figure it out. Now, NASCAR – Richie said NASCAR could squash them because the others didn't have the money. The LIV had the money, possibly way more money than Peach money.
No, he's right.
Way more money than everything. But now with NASCAR, you may see some of this change.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Link said LIV minimum was $120,000 last place money, with 48th place only 3 days. There are 54 on the LIV. Morning, Bill Klein. Brandon said, just posted on ESPN that Brooks Koepka, that's what Forrest said, we went to break, is expected to make the announcement to join LIV with his brother.
And he should.
And here's the thing. That's where it's going to happen. That's where it's going to happen.
Lanny, do you watch Yellowstone?
I've tried, and I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan, and I like good Western-type stories. Too much soap opera for me.
Okay, we'll discuss that later.
Okay.
All right, off the air. But anyway, I'm kidding. For those that do watch it, John Dutton Costner had said something in there that resonated with me that is 100% true, and that is everything on this earth kills something else.
Yes.
And he referred to his dad, when his dad was dying, something was killing his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, everything kills something. Now, what I mean by this is if you build a business or build a brand, there's someone always that's willing to step in and buy that. I say always, that could possibly step in and buy it, or buy it to break it down and kill it, pay you off, whatever, right?
A lot of businesses get bought out not for the business but to kill the competition.
Well, that's what Apple and Google and
Carolina Freight. When it got bought out by ABF, that's all it was. They just wanted to kill the competitor.
Yeah, they just didn't want the competition.
Yeah.
So, the point I'm trying to make is while you're building PGA, up to where you are, do you have the antidote when something else of a disease or virus shows up? All right, do you have the antidote to that poison that's out there? Not the perceived poison that's out there. Do you have the antidote where you can consume that or work with it and diversify it out and lower it, okay, where you can still survive and it still survives somewhat, but not like it was when it first came in? That's what the LIV is doing to PGA. They're coming in like this.
Yeah, I think, but here's the deal. This is what happened. If the PGA had not blown its chest up and just said,
that's fair.
Yeah, go play in your tournaments, nobody would have left. They would have selected the ones they want to play in, because I don't think the LIV was looking for you to give up the PGA. Right. They just wanted some guys to go and play the tournaments.
That's right.
Much like the European Tour and some of the others.
They could have done that, and then they started taking the higher road about human rights, this, that, and the other. And you can't, you can't. I dare say there's always some moral ground to stand on, because you should stand up for things you believe, but they shouldn't be things that you believe and are convicted about when times get tough. Theoretically, it needs to be all the time, that you have those standard core beliefs, right, no matter what. All right. I just – it's kind of like the NCAA with the whole NIL thing. If the NCAA was which they're not a ruling body, they – the presidents of the of all the universities make the rules, and the NCAA is supposed to enforce the rules, right? So they're not really a ruling body. They're just rule enforcers. But if they all got together and said, no, we're not doing this, and not giving a choice instead of just always leaving it open for discussion. I mean, it's kind of like kids, like when I was coaching American Legion baseball. We would have sign-ups. Instead of just signing up on the internet, I would make them come into a meeting.
Sure.
And talk to everybody and lay out expectations. Well, Coach, I've got this trip planned. I said, these are the days that we allow our players to go out of town. Yeah, but my trip lasts 3 more days than that. I said, that's fine. Enjoy your trip, and we'll see you next year. Well, I can't play next year. I said, listen, this is how we do what we do.
Life is about decisions.
Right. I said, and one of my very good a guy and a parent, both sets of parents, ended up being very good friends of mine. The first year a kid was going to play, they were befuddled. Oh, that's not fair. I said, that's not what I'm talking about here. These are your feelings about it. This is our process, okay? And this is what we have to do. You have 5 days, and these are the 5 days. They have to be back by batting practice this day for the game that night, okay? That there is no – well, I had 2 kids a couple years, into it. Coach Rambert, so-and-so's got a stomach virus. We can't come home. I said, if you guys aren't here tonight, you're not playing baseball. Down at the beach, for graduation. I said, if you're not back tonight, you're not playing. Okay. Well, they show up 2 nights later dressed to go to the game. I said, boys, go in my office right there. Take your uniforms off. Change your clothes and get out. I told you. My point is, when you give choices to people, they're going to keep pulling and pulling and pulling, okay? But when you set a standard and other people come in and see that the process works, okay, and why you're doing it and how you go about doing it, and there's a zero-tolerance policy, then people will abide by it, and all of a sudden
as long as the same rules apply to everybody, then that's their decision whether they want to follow along with the process or not.
Quality, when you do something with quality and with standards, and you are the person that makes the decision, not necessarily being fair about it, okay, but setting that line. People can determine what's fair and what's not based on their feelings, all right? What is. All right? You set that standard, the quality of the people that will come around you because they want to be a part of something that has standards will rise, and then all of a sudden, a year later or 2 years later, your team will be in the state championship, right?
Nope.
That's the way I'm just – and my whole point to this is, there's too many choices today that people have, okay? And choices aren't a bad thing, All right? That's a great thing. But when it's all about one side of the choice and not about, the standard of what you're trying to do, and that's what Saban and those guys are, Dabo, all of them are fighting right now. Why would they go recruit a high school kid right now that's not, ready for the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Because all they got to do is just recruit through the portal.
Mm-hmm.
The portal's intent was if a kid wasn't, getting along or had a parent sick, needed to get closer to home, they didn't have to sit out a year. They could go on. They're going to have to go back to the standard of sitting out a year regardless.
But here's
it doesn't
the deal.
matter why.
But don't whine about it because you don't like it. Either choose to participate with it or not participate with it and accept what the results are based on your decision.
Right.
That's the problem. We don't want to accept the results based on our decision.
Fair and so that things are what they are. And the problem is we have all of these entities when young people, especially children, and I say children 0 to 18 in the house, right? Especially when children are trying to better themselves through other opportunities that are out there, right? Whether it be through academics, athletics, or an experience, at a camp or something like that. That's trying to be, but we still have these things. Well, this over here, we've done it like this for 50 years. You don't think Bobby Reynolds has adapted things over the last 35, 40 years he's been coaching? Not you, but people have lost their mind if they don't think he's adapted. He's not the same old Bobby. No, he's the same guy. He's about putting the best product on the field and making his kids the best that they can be. Absolutely.
That's what he's
about.
And
then helping them get to where they want to go.
It's not about the guy in the stands.
No.
That's where we lose.
And at what point are we in the business, all of us, especially when it comes to children, 0 to 18, okay, in providing opportunities for them instead of trying to find reasons to take them away? Right? Why? It's insanity.
Yeah.
And most of it is government overreach.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it all comes
That's where
down
it starts.
to it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Lindsay said if it's a separate product, talking about the LIV and PGA, keep it separate, but you can't compete across brands. Could golfers be put under contracts with non-competes? If they're put under contracts with non-competes, they're just not going to sign the contracts because both sides aren't doing it. They'll just go. They'll do whatever they need to. She's talking about WWE and AEW, the wrestling. Look at when WWF mashed NWA. They just bought them out. Yeah. They bought the competition. Also, she said, I'm waiting on your take on McMahon stepping back while being investigated. Talking about Vince McMahon at WWE, allegedly paid $3 million to keep an affair quiet. That's what I understand from it. Andrew said you're either the predator or the prey. That is correct.
You know what that means?
Yes.
You know what that means? I know you do third person. That means you either have a seat at the table or you're on the menu.
That's right.
That's what that means.
And it doesn't mean it can't change.
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I used to be on the menu quite a bit. All right?
Yep.
Now.
Yep.
In many things, I've got a seat at the table.
Yep.
And I'm trying not to eat the ones that I'm trying to help them get to the table.
Link said Yellowstone's is great, very poetic, very scenic.
Oh, yeah.
Milton said the management at Carolina Freight was brought in to destroy it, and they were successful. Sometimes there are people brought in to dismantle things because the people that are in charge don't have the cojones to do it themselves.
That's correct. You got to have.
That way they can say, "Look, I didn't know they were going to do this to me." Yeah, you did. You brought them in. You brought
people.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but when we started in the radio business, I was the hatchet guy because we were buying stations that were overrun with labor and they couldn't afford it, but they couldn't get rid of them because they were there. For over a year, all I did was fire people.
Yeah.
You got to adapt. This is what I need for you to do. This is how you fit in. If you want to stay, if you don't, I can't use you.
Couldn't do it, yeah.
Richie said paying off at least one female employee to keep quiet about an affair. Yeah, $3 million was the payoff. That's what I've heard. Andrew said right on, the PGA straight up backed them in a corner and made them choose. Be careful when you do that. You may not like the choice that's made, and that's what's happening to the PGA. And that's exactly what happened. And Lindsay said choices have consequences. That's the other part people don't like. I want to make a choice, and I want that choice to just work out for me. I say this all the time. Milton said every choice has consequences and repercussions. It's a simple scientific fact. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and it's the same thing with choices. It doesn't matter. Richie said when the Greenwood school system went to modified year-round school calendar, there were people that backed the school system that were not proponents of the new calendar. Their reason why, it would make them change their schedule for their vacation. You make choices. Lindsay said tourism industry, especially the beach, still fights the calendar law for schools to keep their schools starting earlier than August 25th.
Absolutely.
Districts still have to get waivers, usually for areas that have a lot of time down to inclement weather. Here's the deal. Let me give you just a couple thoughts on that, and then I'm going to take a break. All right, first of all, there should not be a mandatory 180 days.
Agreed.
It just doesn't fit.
No,
that's
not
just something that's
world.
been done for 100,000 years.
We've always done it that way.
Don't
ridiculous.
Make up hours. Yeah. Don't do that stupid stuff. You're
Saturday
just.
School.
It's because we've always done it. There is no. And Lindsay, you might argue with me on this. I don't think there's any proof that it makes that much difference when they do that. And I have always said, why is it not simpler? Because school systems change the start-end date by a day or two. Why would it not be simpler if you're going to have and this is what I always said, if teachers are on a 10-month contract in public school, their contract needs to be from August 1st to May 31st. In June and July, you're out of school. You're out of school. It shifts. It doesn't. You're not getting any more time in the summer. They just shift it back and forth to play games and play games. Sorry if I step on a toe here. With camp meeting going around.
Yeah.
These kids ain't going to camp meeting. Not for the reason you think, and they're not going to stay. You don't have to start school after camp meeting because you're afraid they'll stay out. You can start school. They're going anyway. So stop with the excuses. It goes back to we've done this for 150 years since the Pilgrims set foot on this country, and we're not changing it. Newton Conover tried their year-round school, and their football program suffered. Everything suffered.
It was awful.
Everything suffered because it's not made for that. And do you know why I think year-round school was started? Child care.
Yeah. Again. Going back to who's wanting to control all the narratives, okay?
Yep.
And the other thing is this, free that, okay? What I would like to see being done is provided to you, is the caption saying provided to you by no cost or at no cost to you, provided at no cost to you instead of free. Because I can promise you it's not. And, we've got to get people, back to thinking for themselves. All these things, but
it's easier if you don't think for yourself because you can say, "Well, somebody told me to do this."
Right,
you don't have to accept responsibility for
right?
it. Right,
it's deflection of responsibility, personal responsibility. Now, remember, there are those that cannot think for themselves or can't care for themselves. We all have rights and duties, responsibilities to help with those people. But the insanity that is going on. There's a reason that people are navigating and moving to different parts of the United States. There's a reason for that. And sports, whether people like it or not, are a big part of what people decide to do. And
extracurricular activities are just as important as anything inside the educational environment.
The growth and development of a child, okay, in those significant years with the experiences they have is detrimental, all right, to the emotional health of that child and to the failures, the ability to overcome those failures, identify them and overcome them, not be, oh, God, I'm going to be depressed the rest of my life because I struck out with – no. What you need to do is go back to the dugout, hate to lose more than you like to win, and go out there and get it done the next time, okay? My whole point to this is people are going to navigate where opportunities fit their needs. At what point do we hold elected officials, whether it be on a local, state, or federal level, accountable, all right, for the things that we believe are most important to us. All right, if in a democracy, the majority rules. We are a constitutional republic, which gives us the opportunity to navigate, right, while our membership, which are our voted elected people and our community leaders, address the matters most important to us. Now, it's okay to do it with academics, but I've not seen one school in the United States of America that's a public school that teaches you about finance and investing for the long term. Okay? They teach you about everything else that allows you to go out and get a job, get up and go to work every day and pay taxes.
Mm-hmm. Smoky Mountain.
Okay?
Smoky Mountain, because if I'm not mistaken, that's where Tom Sane was before we came down here. Smoky Mountain, he used to talk about the principal they had when he was there working. That was a requirement. Every student came to his office, and he had five things that they had to do, like make change, keep a checkbook, write a check, just some basic stuff, because it's not being done.
Right, but I'm not talking about just survival.
Yeah,
I'm talking about learning how to do things so you can
but
navigate the world.
until we get kids trained to do survival, you can't get it to another level.
Okay, so this is the problem. Survival, because it's natural, based on what many believe, many coaches too, is to be average. All right? But everybody wants to be great, but they'll settle for being, I say everybody, most people want to try to be great or be famous or, try to have a life more, than what they're currently at, okay, or where they are. They want to try to achieve their full capabilities, but, not understanding what the next steps are or how to go along the process and recover from your failures and learn and do that kind of thing. The whole point is athletics allows you to experience the great failures, all right? But you've got to have people around you that tell you that it's not your successes that make you great. It's the failures that you learn from that led to those successes that allowed you to be great in the end, right? That's why athletics and extracurricular activities, and I don't care if it's an individualized sport like archery now, which is a big deal, wrestling, tennis, or I know there's doubles, but tennis, swimming, whatever, or if it's a team sport. It's all about, failure and learn how to cope with it. And there's so much restriction put on that or so much negativity put on it. And you got to remember, people want to be with people that they are like. And I think we're trying to make everybody the same. And that makes for a boring world.
But that makes things easier.
Well, of course it does.
And we want easier.
It allows you to manage, to try to manage feelings instead of growth and development.
Let me give you a couple of comments that have come in. Bill Klein said NASCAR used to ban drivers who raced in other sanctioned events. And they still would probably try to do that. They just said people want their government-subsidized daycare year-round. Look at the outcries. The lockdowns lingered. Parents wanted to go back to work outside the home, but who will watch the kids? Milton said nothing is free. Somebody's got to pay for it. That's startling information that a lot of people don't understand. They just said year-round schools will be better for student content retention, reduce brain drain, but everyone outside of academics would have to shift as well rather than make it easier or situation. The problem is that takes compromise and everybody working together to make it work. That's the key instead of somebody just dictating what it should be. They just said when she was yearbook advisors, kids would bring a blank check with no idea what to do with it to pay for the yearbooks. That's sad right there. Just be honest. Richie said if someone had sat down with me and explained compound interest on an investments when I was in 20s, I'd be in a whole different ball game financially for me. That's exactly right.
But think, and Richie, that's a great point. But again, that's why it's so important. And I see this quite a bit of not letting kids make their own choices. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? That's how they're going to learn. Okay, first of all, they're not your child. They're God's child. All right, he has chosen the path, right? As a parent, it's our responsibility to guide them on that path, not blaze it for them. So we keep a hand in the back and we keep nudging them forward, letting them know that we're always there if they want to lean back and get advice or if they fail, they got that. but they're the ones that have to plow that road, and it's our job to guide them on the path. Okay? You can't sit there and, God, I could go on for days on this. I'm not going to go on tangent, but we see this in sports and also with kids making their own decisions. You know, I remember 5 years ago, a dad looked at a kid and said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to school over here or do you want to go to school over there? The kid was 13. Why would you do that? You can sit down and say, okay, now tell me why you would choose this school or why you don't like, you know, let's talk about this so I can try to understand you. Instead of saying, well, I'll just do whatever you want to do is fine. We're talking about not only educational opportunities, but the athletic experiences that go with it, or, you know, the extracurricular activities that you talked about, being involved with clubs or, you know, something locally within the town, or I'm just giving an example. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But yet we wonder why, you know, kids turn out. And the first thing I tell my kids, Dad, can I go do this? Nope. Wait a minute. Let me think about it. Yeah, I think that's okay. Why do you tell them no? Because when they get out in the big boy and big girl world and it tells them no, I don't want them going, you told me no when everybody else has always told me yes. What am I going to do? Well, now you know how to handle it, because all you've heard from me is no.
Yeah, we don't.
God Almighty, it's just unbelievable.
We definitely do not.
Or even better, coaching football, baseball, basketball. Kid strikes out, throws the bat down, comes in, slings down. Okay. You know, I understand you're emotionally immature, and we're going to fix that. Okay. Number one, don't ever do that again. And number two, if you don't like the way things are going, you can't improve the pitcher or the umpire, but you can improve yourself. Now, are you going to be smart or are you going to be stupid? Mm-hmm. Which one are you going to – you can't say that to a kid. No, I asked him a question. I didn't call them that. I asked them which one they were going to choose to be. Mm-hmm. Yes, I can. Yes, I do. And yes, I will continue to. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. They say, well, you can't coach here. You can't – I don't care. It changes my life none.
My first year coaching –
but I'm going to be honest and help that kid. Oh, greatest text ever. Father's Day. Let me pull it up right quick. Player from 10 years ago, kicked off the high school team, had some issues at home, you know, whatever, mom and dad. Here it is. Because of men like you, I am where I am today. The guy's like a home builder and has his own business and does all these things. Happy Father's Day, sir. I said, thank you, big guy. I love you. You know, appreciate you. I was very honest with him. I said, son, if you don't stop being stupid, then your track is going over here, and you're going to be off the rails just like you're dealing with at home. Mm-hmm. Now, he was 17, 18 years old. He's sitting in my office up at Legion crying, oh, I don't know. I said, let's just have an honest conversation. You know, we can't do anything about what's happened, but your direction and your focus is what will lead you to success or failure. You have got to do the right thing for right reasons and make better decisions. And if you don't know a decision, call and talk to me about it. Mm-hmm. All right? Year later, kid comes back, Legion again. We had a very good team, went to state championship that summer. He led our team with 9 home runs. This is the guy that couldn't hit a ball of a wet paper bag. Why? Because he started focusing on himself and trying to improve himself to make others around him better. He was a good high school. He ended up being a good high school teammate, a good Legion teammate, and then now he runs a successful business. And I think he may be gone to community college for a couple of months or a semester or whatever. But he realized that if it was going to be, it was up to him.
That's right. That's right.
And the whole point is, you know, be your best you and surround yourself with people that want to be happy. That's another great thing I heard. Only share happy things that happen for you with people that are truly happy for you. Have that kind of circle around you. Because if you're just sharing things that make you happy, or that like a promotion with somebody that really doesn't care about you or really doesn't care or is not genuinely happy for you, then that's not the person you want to be around.
I'll leave you with this.
Unbelievable.
That Richie said. First, Link said when he was in high school, it started the day after Labor Day, ended the Friday before Memorial Day.
That's right.
That's way too simple, Lincoln. That won't work. That's the first problem. Richie, I'm going to leave you with what Richie said. As it is stated in the Bible, you must first be last to be first. That's about as simple as it gets. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. I quit.